That's pretty good. Well, good morning, church. How are we doing? All right, my name is Robert, and I'm the student pastor, and today is Student Takeover. Make some noise for our students. Man, we are excited to be with you today. Thank you for letting us crash the party with our students and celebrate and worship and everything with you guys. We just got back from camp last week, and let me tell you, it was amazing. I have not yet recovered on my sleep, and my voice is a little hoarse, but besides that, it was awesome. And before I get into any statistics, I want to show you a picture of the 80-plus students we brought with us to camp this year. Man, you can make some noise. You can make some noise. They're good looking. See that? Man, I just want to thank you, First Church, for all that you do. Because at the end of the day, we can't send students to camp without you. And that's the truth. We want to thank you for praying for us before, while, after. I need recovery still. Thank you for praying for us as well as for giving. I know we had a lot of people in our church sponsor and donate money so that these students could go to camp. And let me tell you this, it was phenomenal. And I have some stories I'll share with you to give you an inside look of what happened during this past week. But again, before we do anything else, thank you so much for all that you do. Again, we brought 80 students, and out of those 80, we had 13 students for the first time accept Jesus into their heart this past week. Yeah, go God. We had 15 other students say, you know what, I want to get baptized. I'll take the next step of my faith and get baptized. And so sign me up for the next baptism, which is super awesome. It was a go God moment. So we have 15 students like that. I said, man, I just want to get baptized next. And then also we had several, and I mean several students say, you know what, I know who Jesus is, but for the past few weeks, months, years, I've kind of wandered off. I've kind of allowed the world to tempt me and allow me to go that path. But this week, I recognize that I need to come back to my faith in God. And so they prayed a prayer of just rededicating their life back to God. And so it was a phenomenal week. Again, thank you so much just for praying for us, for giving, and allowing us just to experience God's presence away from all the noise here in Orange County. And just so I could kind of give you an update, I want to share a few stories with you on what happened in this past week. The whole week's phenomenal, and I love it all. It's great. I mean, we worship, we play games, we don't sleep. I keep saying that one over and over again because I'm still trying to recover. But it's a great week. But Wednesday night, that's the night that always it just gets me. And I think our students would agree. It just gets them as well. And Wednesday night, what it is this? It's a time for us as a church, as a ministry, to come back together. It's at 10 p.m., a little past my bedtime, but we come together and we have a chance just to reflect what God is doing in our lives. Reflect on just what is going on in our hearts and in our minds. And what's so cool is that this year we had a chance to do our church night, not only with our CSM students here in Anaheim, but also from Ventura. And it was just super cool. And here's the night is. The night's basically a time where we come together, we do a few worship songs, and then this year's a little different. We had 2 students who said, you know what, we want to kind of take lead and kind of get a feel for the room. We want to ask the tough question. Yeah, I see Jake and Yanai here. They were the ones who led it for us. And they were like, man, we want to ask the question, why are you here? Why did you choose to come to camp? And how is God strengthening your faith? Like what's going on in your heart? And we talked and we're like, hey, 10 minutes, we'll do this. We'll have this thing set up. As you know, it's very difficult to have students talk. Parents, you know this is an amen. Like they come home from school, they go straight to their room, put their headphones on, and they typically don't come out unless they need food or they need money. And so, it's like pulling teeth. It's tough sometimes. And so I told the guys, I'm like, hey, it might be a little difficult. Once the first domino goes, hopefully then we get a few more, but if not, just try to stretch it out. And I'll tell you what, we went way longer than 10 minutes. We went almost an hour straight of just student after student after student standing up and just sharing their heart, sharing what they're going through, sharing what God is doing through them. And it was just jaw-dropping, amazing stuff. And I have a few I want to share with you. Again, I wish I could share them all with you. I wish I could have had you guys there with us to hear and to watch. But I have a few. We had one student stand up and begin to share that, man, I have a tough time finding friends. I have a tough time making friends. Whether it's here at CSM, whether it's in his schools, at his house, he's like, it's just tough to make friends. And he began to break down. And he's like, but this week at camp, I found some friends. I made some friends. And he said, I can't wait to get back down the mountain so I could go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays and hang out with my friends and learn about God. And at this moment, he was bawling, and the coolest thing happened. All 80 of our students and Ventura even got up and just rushed the back and went to him and hugged him and embraced him and loved on him. And it was just a powerful movement. We had another student in his high school years, and he's just like, man, I'm getting ready to graduate soon. I've been wondering what I want to go to school for. I've been praying about it, and he's like, I know what it is now. And I said, what is it? He's like, I want to become a youth pastor. That's my heart. That's what God's calling me to do. So he's like, I'm going to go full in for ministry. I'm going to figure out how to become a youth pastor. I want to do that. And that was just, again, a go God moment. We had another student who he helps out in our worship team, and he's like, man, I've been kind of half foot in, half foot out. I serve, I'm there, I enjoy it, but I've yet to fully say, God, use me. I'm here for whatever you need. And he's like, up here at camp, I'm making a promise to God, a decision that, hey, I'm gonna go all in. There's no more training wheels. I'm just gonna go full in. However God wants to use me through worship, if he wants me to lead, whatever he wants me to do, I'm all in. We had another person share that the past year or two has been really tough as they've been going through a divorce in the family. And there's been a lot of built up hurt, not only with themselves, but the family. And for the first time, they had a chance to pray and really say, God, forgive them, forgive me. I need to get right with my parents. And they said that they can't wait to come back down the mountain and just embrace their family and tell them, I love you, because they haven't said that in a while. Again, a total go God moment. And then we had several students just say, you know what? We need more Jesus, period. We need more. We want to commit to come back on Sundays and Wednesdays more often and to really allow God to work. And so again, church, thank you so much. You played a role in that. You had an impact in that. And we just appreciate you as a church for supporting us. And today, what I want to do is I want to kind of share our student ministry, kind of tell you what's about. Maybe you've heard me say CSM a few times, and you're like, what is CSM? What does that mean? Well, CSM is the name of our student ministry, and it's called Crosspoint Student Ministry. Very easy, but CSM, it sounds cooler. And I want to walk you through today kind of what Pastor Brown and I have worked on for the past few months on why we exist. What's the purpose of our youth ministry? And how do you affect it? How do you play a role in it? As you know, we have our mission here at Crosspoint. If you know it, say it with me. It's to lead people to. Okay, I mean, that was better than the first service, but still, I'm a youth pastor, and we know at times it's a little crazy and chaotic over there, and we get really loud. So you can speak a little louder. So let's try it one more time. It's to lead people to. There we go. That was good. And the same goes for our students, but we changed a little bit. We say to lead students to find and follow Jesus. And we have a few things here on how do we make sure we're going towards that goal? How do we make it evident not only to our students, our team, but our church that we could go pushing towards that goal? And so today I want to share with you, and our first one is this. Our student ministry isn't the church of tomorrow. It's the church of today. We don't believe that they are sitting at the kids' table. they sit at the adult table. In 1 Timothy, it says this, don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity. We believe that our students could impact the world right now. And we believe that's why here at Crosspoint, you see our students up here leading us in worship today. And man, did they not do a great job? They did a phenomenal job, yeah. That's why you see our students over in the Kid Point area helping out, serving, because we believe they have a role, they have an impact. And man, I love that analogy of sitting at the adult table. Man, when I was growing up, I can remember all of our Thanksgiving meals and me sitting at the kids' table. Even though I was a big, huge guy, I was still a kid. I didn't really fit in very well, but I was still there. And I just remember thinking to myself, man, the adult table just seems so much cooler. Like they're laughing, they're telling jokes. Over here, I have my cousins spilling stuff everywhere, and it's just horrible. I mean, I couldn't wait to get over there. And I want to tell you, that's so true with our students today. I'll tell you one thing, people think, man, this generation, they're kind of a little more lazy, they're a little more, not driven. And I think that's false. I think that they are so smart and have so much knowledge that sometimes we lower the bar and they get bored. They say, man, the bar is set too low. And they get bored. They want to sit at the adult table. They want to learn. They want to grow. And that's how us, the church, we could help them. We could push them. We could raise the bar ourselves and expectation ourselves. And I do believe that they will hit it. They will reach it. They need a purpose. Our next one is this. Our student ministry, it thinks three. And we will never lose sight of the next generation. Matthew says this, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So he is the God of the living and not the dead. We think three, and this is huge because, as you know, we all need help. We all need to show our influence. Iron sharpens iron. And we have students here, that's why they serve in Kid Point, because they want to not only just have fun over there with the kids, but also they want to walk them through it. I mean, the book of Ecclesiastes says this, that nothing is new under the sun. It's all been done before. Students, that's good for us to hear too. Our parents, our church, they've been there before. They've done it. They've seen it. Church, we've been there. We've seen it. It's our job to make sure that we're guiding and mentoring and directing our students in the way of God. We think three. It's so cool to see a family have their life or their family tree changed. All of a sudden, like a family who was not going God's way, go God's way, now their kid, now their future family. I mean, that's just a generational change, and it's so cool to see. Our third one is this. Our student ministry makes faith the driving point. It keeps us on the edge and prevents us from being stagnant. Faith in anything other than Jesus is building your life on a fragile foundation. I love what Hebrews says. It says this, and it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. We want our students to have faith, our church to have faith as a crutch that they lean on. You hear that term all the time, a crutch, and we think it's a bad thing. I think if faith's our crutch, it's a great thing. We need more people to lean on their faith in times of trouble, because we know this, that the world will throw things our way, things that we're not ready for. And the world says this, run to the world, to earthly people for advice. Run to them. But I'll tell you that's not good advice. God says to run to his word. Run to him. Put your faith in him. Trust him. Do you know this, that 1 in 5 students deal with bullying? 1 in 5. That means 3 out of the 10, it says this, that 3 out of the 10 who deal with bullying have it affect them in a negative way, in a way that they never knew it did. And it starts this trend of depression, suicidal thoughts, new addictions. They don't think they have worth. I'll tell you this, we want our students to know that no matter what the world says, God has the truth. Their best friend might say, we think this of you, but I want you to know this, that God has value. You have a purpose. There's a reason for why you exist. We want to encourage our students to have their own faith. I was blessed to grow up in a Christian home, but for a long time, I had my parents' faith. They led by example, which they should. But at some point, they challenged me, what does your faith really mean? And they allowed me to lead, allowed me to experience my faith in God. I want to encourage our students, our church, to allow our students to lead, as well as to push them to grow in their own faith, so that when life does throw things their way, they could trust in their own faith that they created with God. Our next one is our student ministry is family friendly. Every parent is our partner. I'll say it again, every parent is our partner. Our mission is to build a bridge from the parents to their students by connecting them to God. We recognize that parents have an average of 3,000 hours per year to influence their child. We, the church, have less than 100. Parents, you may not know it. Church, you may not know it. You play a huge role in the lives of our students. And I want to encourage you this, more is caught than taught. More is caught than taught. A lot of times we want to teach them and teach them and teach them. But I'll tell you this, the moment you start walking the walk and living it out, they start watching. And they will learn a lot more by watching you than listening to you. Parents, church, you have a huge role. God's put a huge thing on our hearts. It says this in Deuteronomy. It says this, these are the commands, decrees, and regulations that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you. You must obey them in the land you are about to enter and occupy. And you and your children and grandchildren must fear the Lord your God as long as you live. If you obey all his decrees and commands, you will enjoy a long life. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you are at home and when you're on the road, when you're going to bed and when you're getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Church, this is what it's saying is this. We are told to constantly communicate, constantly be affecting the next generation. It's our job to mentor them and walk them through it. They may not think that you may think that they're not listening or they're not watching, but I would say they definitely are. This past week at camp, it showed me. So many of your students, I hear them talk, I watch them, and I could tell they are getting influenced. They are observing. There's a quote from a book called Honest to God. It says this, I'll read it for you. It says, Christian parents who truly understand the goal of parenting become fully engaged in the challenge. Yeah, it's a challenge, you know it. They no longer just build business, they build character, value, and vision into young lives. They no longer treat children as inconveniences to be handed off to anyone who will attend them for $5 an hour. It's a ripoff if you ask me. These parents see the season of parenting as the ultimate spiritual challenge worthy of their best efforts, most fervent prayers, and largest investment of time. They search for ways to improve their skills through books, this is old students, tapes, seminars, and interacting with other parents. In short, they do anything they can to encourage authentic Christian growth in their children, even if it slows down their professional advancement and postpone their pursuit of personal dreams. They know that molding a student into a God-honoring difference maker is the most stretching, demanding, and an ultimate fulfilling challenge they can face in their lives. I hope you realize how much of an impact you are. I hope you realize how precious our students are. That quote's so strong. It says to kind of make your new dreams and mission these young people, to encourage them, to walk with them. And I know some of you are thinking, you don't know my student. You don't know the challenges I face. You don't understand how difficult it is to even just have a conversation with them. And while you may be right that I don't know your exact situation, I do know my God. And I really do know how strong he is. And I would encourage you, just as he says, that you can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. You make a difference, parents, church. You make a difference. The next one is our student ministry. It recognizes the most effective ministry takes place outside of the church building. We will see our schools as a mission field we have been sent to reach, not as enemy territory. Romans says this, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. But how can they call on him to save them unless they believe him? And how can they believe in him if they have never heard about him? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? Students, that's our job. We have an opportunity every day. I know you don't all love school, but you have a chance at your missions field to go impact people's lives. It says this, that 30% of students don't hear I love you enough, don't receive it enough, don't understand what it means to play a role in their families' lives. We have a big mission field out there with tons of students who just need to hear the words I love you, who need to understand how great God is. Proverbs says this, the righteous choose their friend carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. We have to be encouraged, students, to make sure that we find the right friends. Pastor Brian says it all the time, our friends are like elevator buttons. Take us up or take us down. I want to encourage you to find friends who are chasing after God. Influence others to chase after God with you. Be the light that God has intended you to be. Our next one is our student ministry believes love is an action verb meant to be lived out. Our love is shown by displaying the ABCs: accepted, belong, cared for, to every student that steps into our ministry. How many of us has ever wanted to feel accepted? You can raise your hand, it's totally fine. It's not scary. How many of you ever wanted to feel like you belong somewhere, that someone cares about you? I mean, that's our greatest need as humans. We want to feel that we are accepted. We want to feel like, man, I belong here. I could come here and not be judged. Man, I want someone to care about me. Here at CSM, we make that an effort, that the students here at Crosspoint feel accepted. This is their home. That they belong here. That no matter what happens outside of school, no matter who they are, they belong here. And that we care about them. And we care about their future. It says this in John, so now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other just as I have loved you. You should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. I love the word disciples because, the word Christian is nowhere found in the Bible. The word Christian came from the Pharisees, from the Roman Empire, who was trying to basically mock Christ followers. Jesus calls his followers disciples. You see, a Christian worries more about their attendance on a Sunday morning or on a Wednesday night. A disciple, they worry more about showing love every day, following Jesus every day, picking up their own cross every day and realizing how amazing we have to have hope and a future for everlasting. I want to encourage our students to be disciples for Jesus Christ. Our student ministry believes that moral boundaries paves the way for intimacy. Moral boundaries pave the way for intimacy. Psalm says this, "Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may live according to your truth. Grant me purity of heart so that I may honor you." Our prayer, church, is to establish moral boundaries for our students. This is where we can have a huge help from the church as accountability, as far as walking the walk, showing us how to do it. We need to have moral boundaries in our dating lives, our friendships, our life choices. There's a lot of things we need to learn and a lot of things we need to set up to protect us from this world. We believe it's very important to keep our boundaries strong in Jesus and make sure that we are walking a line that he's proud of. Our student ministry is to help students discover their identity and a bigger story for their life through ministry that is filled with adventure, risk, significance, faith, and fun. Did you know this? The number one thing searched on Google for 19 years and younger is purpose. Purpose. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? What's next? They ask these questions all the time. Galatians 2:20 says this, "My old self has been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me." We want to encourage, church, our students to know this, that their purpose is to live for him. It's not about me. It's about him. We're called to bring glory to God. And we want to do that by helping them go through this adventure. Being a follower of Christ is the greatest adventure you could ever go on. You have the most significance you'll ever have. And it's pretty fun too. My last one for you today is this. And this is one of my favorites. And this is church where you can make a difference. I know a lot of this today has been how you make a difference, but also more so what CSM is about. But this last one is one that I want you to really think about and really hear what's being said is this. The goal of our student ministry is to connect every student to a caring leader that is equipped to mentor, develop, and encourage students in their spiritual development. We have a core value here of mentoring. It's on the screen right now, and if you could help me with those loud, energetic voices, help me read this out loud. It says this: we are responsible to all right, one more time. I'm sorry, but this is good. This is the meat right here. We need it. I need it. Here, let's do it again. We are responsible to learn and return the information. It's good. Philippians says this: keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. Speaking from pure example here, church, this one hit home to me, mentoring. You have a job. You have a purpose. When I was 13 years old, I met a man at our church who impacted my life. Today he's out in the dunk tank, I think, getting dunked. It's Pastor Jeff. He made an impact on my life when I was 13 years old. Him, along with my parents, made me the person I am today. Today I'm standing in front of you as a youth pastor because of the role models and the mentoring I received. Church, this is big, this is heavy. It's important to know that you make a difference. you impact in such a heavy, heavy way. And I want you to know this, that one thing I love about Crosspoint is that we encourage you to get your hands dirty. We encourage you to serve alongside us. We encourage you to interact with our students. You don't have to be a parent to do that. All you have to do is be willing. I want you to remember this one thought. God's been working on my heart a lot with this. It's not about me. It's all about him. No matter what we do on this earth, it's not about me. It's all about him.